Welcome to the Dallas ISD Athletic Hall of Fame dinner and induction ceremony. I'm your master of ceremony, Chris Arnold from 105.3 The Fan, and your MC for your Dallas Mavericks. It is a great occasion. I'm glad to be here. I've been covering sports in Dallas. Wow, it'll be 40 years next month. 40 years. Time flies. Jimmy Carter was president back when I started on K104. 30 years of K104 alone. But I say that only to let you know, when you're on the radio and you do television, I did also 5 years at Channel 8, won an Emmy Award working with my buddy Dale Hansen. Dale's not here tonight. Dale said, right. He was here last year, so he's passing the baton along. But before we get started, I want to let you know that we are going to stay on time. In the world of radio and television, you cannot be late. Everybody knows you're late if you're late. So we're not going to be late. We're going to keep the train moving. And without further ado, I think it's time to recognize our sponsors and some of the people who are here. I'd like to acknowledge the sponsor for tonight's event, the presenting sponsor, Credit Union of Texas, and their CEO, Mr. Eric Pointer. Met Eric a little while ago. Eric. Also, our other sponsors include Coca-Cola, the Dallas Sports Commission, JCPenney, PBK Architects, NEFF, RPGA Design Group, Inc., TH+A Architecture, Interior Design and Planning. I want to thank you, all of our sponsors, for making this great event a reality. All right. We'd also like to acknowledge the Sunset High School Junior ROTC. They're going to be presenting and posting our colors. Please rise. And now with our national anthem, representing Booker T. Washington High School for the Performing Arts and Visual Arts, Harper Jones, soloist, Devion Lowe, cellist, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Harper, Devion, the ROTC, Booker T. Sunset representing. This is an athletic banquet, so y'all know that song is the song that everybody hears at every game, right? And we've all heard different versions of it, and covering, Super Bowls, World Series, Final Fours, NBA Finals, NBA All-Star Games, Pro Bowls, Olympics, all these different sporting events. I've heard every kind of adaptation of the national anthem you can think of. And you got to really be skilled at this because those notes vary, and sometimes the singer could forget, caught up in the moment. I'm going to remember two occasions. One time at a Mavericks game, a home game, we're about to do the national anthem, and all the players are lined up, and their hands are over their heart. And the public address announcer, Sean, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, to do the national anthem." I'm looking out on the floor, and there's nobody there. "Ladies and gentlemen, to do our national anthem, Mr. Jerry Stackhouse." Stackhouse stepped out of the lineup, shocked his teammates, and killed it. I mean, he was absolutely flawless. Another memorable occasion, I'll never forget this as well. The late, great Natalie Cole. She had the best ever recovery. She's singing this at one of the NBA Finals. It was the Lakers versus the Pistons, I believe, back in the day. And she was singing it great. And then she forgot the words. And she just froze. But instead of just staying frozen, she said, "Help me, y'all." And everybody joined in and finished it off. It was outstanding. The national anthem. All right, that being said, as you can tell, dinner is being served. And we want to mention that the music is going to be performed by the Bryan Adams High School Jazz Band as you have your dinner and dine, and then the ceremonies will continue. Again, enjoy yourself. You're here at the Dallas Independent School District Athletic Hall of Fame dinner and induction ceremony. Also, want to recognize we have in attendance here the head coach and the principal for the 2019 UIL Class 3A State Basketball Champions. Give it up for Damian Mobley and Marion Willard from the Madison Trojans. Brought home the title. That'll work. That'll work. Also, we want to say another special shout out to one of our sponsors, Coca-Cola. If you will see on your tables, there is an individual Coca-Cola bottle. These are commemorative bottles. It actually says, "Share a Coke with the 2019 Athletic Hall of Fame." It's a commemorative bottle. You can take that home. Or if you can't wait, you can open one up and have a sip. But I highly recommend you put it somewhere on the fireplace or on the mantle and let everybody know you are here being a part of this festive occasion. Again, I want to say hello again to our VIPs on this occasion. And we'd like to also salute our chef for an attractive and tasty meal. Yes. I did not know that mashed potatoes was grits. I love grits. That worked. I like a twist. And while we're on the topic of appreciation, why don't we also express thanks to all of our event sponsors listed in your program for underwriting this enjoyable event. Again, give it up to our sponsors. Like I said, you can continue dining, and the dessert is absolutely awesome as well. I've had a little bit of that cheesecake with the bananas, and you got the little chocolate and whipped cream and a little strawberry sauce, a raspberry sauce. Give you a little taste of everything. You can do this while our program continues because, again, I will keep you all on time. We will stay on time. This train keeps them moving. Now, to begin our program, I want to salute the 9 outstanding individuals and sports legends selected for the 2019 class of the Dallas ISD Hall of Fame. Their talent, grit, and character fueled their exploits in high school, the pros, and wherever life has taken them. We're honored to celebrate these heroes and heroines, living and deceased. Audience, if you would, please stand and applaud the 9 inductees for this evening. We would not be here if it weren't for you. And you will get to hear from them very, very soon. By the way, just like the Academy Awards, after your speech is running a little long, I have a band in my pocket. We will start playing. 3 minutes. It's especially appropriate that we honor these sports legends who serve as such worthy role models for the next generation of scholar athletes. As our young people pursue their futures, we can always hope that they will be inspired by our honorees to complete and compete with honor and sportsmanship, make ethical life decisions, and win or lose, always display dignity and character. At this time, it is my privilege to introduce two of the guiding lights of the Dallas Independent School District. These are leaders who make and stand behind the critical decisions that steer the ship of Dallas ISD, launching bright futures for the district's 150,000 plus students. Edwin Flores is president of the district's 9-member board of trustees. He and his colleagues serve countless hours without compensation, setting policy, listening to constituents, questioning and advising the district leadership on crucial decisions. Dr. Flores will be followed by Superintendent Dr. Michael Hinojosa, who with vision and devotion to duties guides the day-to-day operation of Dallas ISD, which happens to be the largest employer in Dallas County and the architect and protector of the city's future. We certainly thank both of these public servants for supporting the creation of the Dallas ISD Athletic Hall of Fame and for joining us this evening to celebrate alongside our inductees. And now please welcome Dr. Edwin Flores, who will be followed by Superintendent Michael Hinojosa.
Thank you, Chris, for that introduction. It's an incredible honor to be here to recognize this group of celebrities, people who've exemplified excellence on and off the field of competition and created a sense of excitement and pride in Dallas ISD and the city of Dallas. On behalf of the Dallas Independent School District Board of Trustees, I'm pleased to add my voice to those who have gathered here today to say thank you. So thank you all for what you've done for our city and our school district to put Dallas ISD on the map as an athletic powerhouse. Before I go any further, I would like to please join me in recognizing the other trustees who are here tonight. Trustee Joyce Foreman is here, Trustee Dan Mitchke, Trustee Lou Blackburn, and former Trustee Bernadette Nuttall is also here. So if there are any other trustees or former trustees, please let us know, but thank you for being here. Next, I want to acknowledge Dr. Hinojosa for spearheading this effort. This effort helps shine a light on the many incredible athletes that have played on our fields here in Dallas and our courts, and who have not only that, but also motivated future generations of young athletes to stake a claim to greatness. So please join me in thanking him for the culmination of a long life dream. To our honorees, thanks to you, untold numbers of young people are studying, working to stay in top physical shape, and aspiring to become the best athletes and citizens they can be. Their dream is to follow in your footsteps. To you and your families for all they've sacrificed and accomplished, we thank you and declare that you're true role models who are worthy of this recognition. And finally, I want to thank all the coaches and the athletic department for making not only all the many victories possible, but also this very special evening. Thank you very much.
I too want to thank everyone. I want to start with Chris Arnold. Chris Arnold is so much fun at the Maverick game and all our days back to K104. So Chris, thank you for everything. But also want to thank all of our sponsors, but especially Credit Union of Texas, who stepped up big time to make this event possible for everyone in this room. I also want to thank a few of the honorees from last year. I see Jerry Rome and Michael Carter and others that have come back to help support their other classmates and coaches and people that helped Dallas ISD come here. And you know, sports has always been part of my life. Growing up in Oak Cliff, as I like to say. You know, I played, one of our judges was Tommy Betts, and Tommy Betts and I played high school basketball together. And my high school coach said, Hinojosa, you're short, but you're slow too. And I said, Coach, thank you. That was very inspiring. But he said, you're the smartest kid I ever coached. You're going to be somebody. It's just not in college basketball. But this fraternity and sorority that we have of athletes and coaches and actually been around so long, being a student in Dallas, a coach in Dallas, and being a superintendent twice, you know, I have actually a personal relationship with 6 of the inductees this evening. And that's how we all stick together through our lives. And actually, on the 7th one, the English family, I have a relationship with the brother, not the actual honoree. The 8th one, Robot was so fast I could never see him. And Harvey Martin was so big, I was so afraid. I never got to meet Harvey Martin. But it's just that kind of joy that we have in Dallas, and athletics have been a big part of this community. And it's helped guide a lot of young people and these coaches, these athletes. And I really want to thank the committee because it was very hard. And now there's a lot of pride in getting in this Hall of Fame, as it should be. And that's a tribute, actually. I get the credit, but it's actually a tribute to our athletic department who had the vision. It's great to having Troy back to make this happen and make it a reality and go honor all the legacies of this great community. So thank you. Let's have a great evening.
My buddy, Dr. Hinojosa. Every now and then he reminds me, he says, Chris, I remember when I was in elementary school, I used to listen to you and Tom Joyner. I said, He goes, yeah. And then when I went to Sunset, was on the basketball team, I used to listen to you and Skip Murphy and company. I was like, what? And he said, I said, prove. He goes, I love school. When I wake up early in the morning, I say, ooh, y'all know. I can't wait to get there to see all my friends, the principal and teacher too. I love school every morning. Now, my grandma would tell me, she'd say, baby, you can sing, but that's not your song. Again, thanks to the leaders of Dallas ISD for joining us tonight and for the tireless service to all of us. Now, it's time to move into the moment we've been waiting for. The exciting recognition of the 9 sports legends selected for the 2019 class of the Dallas ISD Athletic Hall of Fame. They've already made historic accomplishments in their chosen sports and in life and in the community. They're making history again tonight as trailblazers in yet another sphere. It's really an honor to be here to witness this. Without further ado, let's meet our honorees. Gary Blair. Gary currently serves as the head women's basketball coach at Texas A&M University and is the most successful head coach in university history and a member of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Before he cut his teeth on the hardwood, Blair was a standout all-city baseball player at Bryan Adams and led her to Texas Tech. He also served his country with a stint in the U.S. Marine Corps, Jarhead, before returning to Dallas as the inaugural head coach of the South Oak Cliff girls basketball team. In his 7 seasons at South Oak Cliff, he set a state record with 5 consecutive state tournament appearances and a 239-18 record. His teams won 3 state Class 4A championships in 77, 78, and 1980. Blair moved up to collegiate level in the 1980 season as an assistant at Louisiana Tech and helped lead the Lady Techsters to a pair of national championships and 5 NCAA tournament appearances. In 1985, Blair accepted his first head coaching collegiate position at Stephen F. Austin and rewrote the record book with 6 NCAA tournament appearances while compiling a 210-43 record in 6 seasons. Blair continued to ascend the coaching ladder as he moved to the University of Arkansas in 1993 and guided the Lady Razorbacks to the Final Four in 1998 and a 198-120 record in 10 seasons. He also served as an assistant to the U.S. Jones Cup team, which won the gold medal in Taiwan and became the first U.S. team to go undefeated in the Jones Cup tournament. Since his arrival at Texas A&M in 2003, Blair has transformed the Aggies into a national powerhouse with a national title in 2011 and 13 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. Entering 2018-2019, Blair ranks 8th in career victories among active Division I coaches with an impressive 765 and 314 overall record. That's a winning percentage of 709. He is one of just 12 Division I coaches with 750-plus wins in a career. He's also the longest tenured head women's basketball coach in Aggie history and owns the school record for most wins. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gary Blair, Coach Blair.
Coach Blair is royalty. Right. He began coaching in the early 70s at South Oak Cliff High School. And he took those youngsters and just built some outstanding teams. And I just always admired him so much.
He's the originator of girls basketball in Dallas ISD. He showed that if you want to be better, you can't just stay in the city. You have to be willing to travel and make sacrifices to go out and get the competition that they need to be better. And it's okay if you lose 1 or 2 games, you know, but it's gonna make your team better, and I think that's what we learned.
First, I would like to thank everyone at Dallas Independent School District for making this honor possible for me, but it's for everyone that I've had a chance to coach or to play with at Dallas Independent School District. From all the way from Reinhardt Elementary School to Sanger Elementary School to W.H. Gaston Junior High and to Bryan Adams High School. It was a great ride. It's a special time, not for Gary Blair, but to remember the South Oak Cliff program back in the day. So from 73, 74, the first season that we competed, we had to set out 2 years before we could go into UIL. And then when we went in 75, 76, we went to 5 state tournaments in Austin, won 3 out of the 5 state championships. It was one of the best times of my life. So many kids graduated and went on to college, either in volleyball, basketball, or track and field for South Oak Cliff. I'm so proud of that. I keep up with the majority of them that I still have their phone numbers. Because once you're a Golden Bear, you're always a Golden Bear. So Dallas has been good to me. It's my start. South Oak Cliff High School is still the best job I've ever had. The relationships, the teachers, the administration, and particularly all the young people that I had a chance to coach. My assistant coaches were tremendous for me over the years. I owe everything to Dallas Independent School District.
Coach Blair.
As Aggies would say, howdy. You ask a preacher or a coach to do something in 3 minutes, it's impossible, but we're going to try. I'd really like to thank my family sitting over there on table 11 for coming. All 4 of us graduated from Bryan Adams High School. My brother was in the first class, and the younger sister was in 71 class. But it was special. We went over there today for a pep assembly over there, and it was just special what the athletic director, Gil Babers, has built over there, and I cannot wait for that $68 million renovation. And don't delay it. Make sure that one's done. And you're doing South Oak Cliff right now. Get her done. Now, I want to, most of you do not realize, my 2 sisters probably could have been good athletes, but they were not given that opportunity back then because there was no women's athletics in the city, any of the large cities. They were all in the small cities. But all of a sudden, I'm a product of Title IX. I got the job in 73, 74 while I was waiting around to be a baseball coach or a football coach or boys basketball coach. It just worked out because the girls came over next door and asked me to coach. And that's how I got started. Best decision I ever made. And while I'm here, I would like for these young ladies to stand up. They're all college graduates. They were all state players. But if they will stand up, Barbara Brown, Stephen F. Austin, alternate on the Olympic team. Pam Green, Missouri. Bridget Phillips, Texas Women's University. Gwen Wilson, Tyler Junior College. Priscilla Barnett, Howard Payne. And right over here, Fran Harris, University of Texas, national champion in '86, was in this thing last year. But those ladies made me who I am today. They did it. It's the best job I've ever had. I get paid a little bit more at A&M. I'm not getting near as much as Jimbo and the boys basketball. I'm just getting a little piece, but it's more than the $7,000 I got in '72 when I first started. But I just want to appreciate the ISD, and I want to make a challenge to our superintendent, Mike Anosa. His brother used to cut my hair when it was darker. We're honoring coaches and players. I'd like to go back and honor all the people that graduated from DISD, the educators, the scientists, the musicians, the nurses, the policemen and women, the doctors, the heroes in the military, the inventors that used education and opportunity that DISD provided for all of us. And a lot of y'all that are in this room, you were not great athletes, but you end up using what you got in DISD to be a great person. And I'd like to challenge Dr. Anosa to honor everybody. Thank you. I appreciate the honor.
Outstanding. That's Coach Blair. Let me also take this time right quick here to acknowledge Monica Paul, the Executive Director of the Dallas Sports Commission. She's helping with the presentation of rings. So there are rings, there are jackets. This is the DISD Hall of Fame ceremony, and you're in the room. By the way, was anybody here last year? You were at this ceremony last year? You remember Coach Freddie James from Carter? And he talked for about an hour and a half. Now, Freddie's my guy. We ain't having Freddie, but none of y'all can do what Freddie did last year, so don't try it. We're going to keep it moving. And just so you know how things are going, we're going to show a film, and then we're going to bring up the honoree, okay? Our next honoree, Doug English, two-sport letterman at Brian Adams in football and track and field. Doug English was a standout defensive lineman for the Cougars. As a senior, a late growth spurt along with spectacular play on the gridiron caught the eye of the University of Texas coaching staff. An all-district performer for a team which finished 9-1 in 1970, English parlayed that success into a scholarship offers from the Longhorns. Once English arrived in Austin, he continued to grow into a dominant force as he earned all Southwest Conference honors following a pair of Southwest Conference titles in '72 and '73. He capped off his career in fine fashion following the 1974 campaign with a spot on the UPI AP All-American team, in addition to earning team MVP honors. English was drafted in the second round of the 1975 draft in the NFL, which is going on tonight. I'll give you the update. By the Detroit Lions, and embarked on a 10-year professional career, which was highlighted by 59 quarterback sacks. He is tied for the NFL record for career safeties with 4 and was named an All-Pro on 3 occasions in addition to 4 Pro Bowl selections. English was named to the UT Hall of Honor in 1986, the Texas High School Hall of Fame in 1997, the College Football Hall of Fame in 2011, the Texas Sports Hall of Fame in 2014, and the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame in 2015. English is an advocate for spinal cord research with his involvement in various foundations over the years, and has also designed a piece of football training equipment called the Power Drive. Watch this video of the great Doug English.
Athletics can have such a tremendous impact on your life. And it starts with the teamwork and the meaningful nature of working with other people to accomplish the same goal. And then to do that with a lot of really hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, literally. And then to accomplish things by the end of the year together, and you did it together, you know, and you picked each other up and you helped and you did your part, and it all worked. And then you remember that stuff the rest of your life. That is by far the most important part of athletics. But you better learn how to become a great man or a great woman in sports as a person. It'll help you play. It'll help you play longer. I had coaches at Bryan-Adams High School that saw something and said, we're going to have patience with this guy. We're going to keep pushing him. We're going to keep trying to teach him. We're going to do what we can. And I remember Frank Davis, the track coach, pulling me off the side of the practice one day. And, you know, he wasn't even a football coach. And he said, I just want you to know, Doug, there's something special about you. And I want you to stay with this and keep trying, because you're gonna be really good one day. And no one had ever said that to me. It gave me the approval to go get better. The game of football is not that important. All that teamwork and hard work and working and depending on each other, and all those things are important to life. And as much as those things are important to life, the game's important. But the game itself is not important. Shoot, if I have any championship rings or accolades, that's not important to anybody, not even to me. But, you know, if I have something I can share with them about the qualities that are now available to them if they'll pursue sports in the right way, and what that'll do for them later in life, then that's a great opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doug English. Maybe one game, right?
One play. I don't know where to start, but I'd better get it done quickly, right? 3 minutes. You know, I think they've already left, but I do want to give a quick SO shout out to the Bryan-Adams Jazz Band. I'll tell you what, band works as hard as, I mean, our son, it was in the band at Westlake High School. Those guys work as hard or harder than football players. I mean, they're out there on the hot pavement all day, all summer. I mean, these guys work hard, and it's got the discipline, it's got the teamwork, it's got all the things that build character. So, you know, I don't think there's anybody here to appreciate it. Maybe Sean, pass that on for me, Coach. But the band is something I've really learned to value. I want to thank all the administrators and the committee and all the coaches that managed to put my name up for this thing, and the arm twisting you no doubt had to do to get me in here. So that means a lot, and thank you to all of you. It turns out, I mentioned coaches because everything that's good that's happened to me has come from a coach. And not all coaches wear whistles, but I had my share of those. Started with these two coaches over here, Lowell and Ann English, and they led by example, and they worked hard, and we worked as a team and as a family, and that was the greatest team. You know, the Bob Cowser and Jimmy Don Hunt back in the day at Bryan-Adams. Pat Patterson, the defensive line coach, recruited Dallas and coached defensive line for the University of Texas, that took a chance on me. I think the conversation probably went something like, you know, Darrell Royal probably called him and said, well, who's this English guy you're trying to recruit? And by the way, I played from the 5th grade on. I never played out the first play in a game until my senior year. I started 1 year. And so, you know, unfortunately today, if you do that, you don't have a chance. But somehow or another, Coach Patterson saw something he liked, and I think the conversation went, you know, Darrell's like, you know, who is this guy? What do you, oh, no, he can play. And his daughter at his funeral told me that they said, well, do you got any film on him? And it was sitting right there in his drawer, and he just shut the drawer and said, no, he can play. But, you know, he's an example of the right coach at the right time. Went to Detroit. I won't describe all the coaches, but trust me, they were the right coach for me at the right time. I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the smartest, I wasn't the strongest, I wasn't the most athletic, but I had the best combination of coaches my entire life. And so I want to thank all you coaches, and that's a big reason why I've actually patented and created this one product, just to kind of end my career in football again, and it's been a great ride. So thank you, coaches of all stripes, moms, dads, coaches. This is a great honor for me, and you know, if we can pass on one thing from this, it's to be a good coach. You know, it cures all ills. God bless you. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. This mic is loud. Thanks, Doug. Right now, I want to introduce you, Coach Michael Hensley. Michael Hensley is the chief architect of the Dallas Lincoln girls basketball dynasty of the late 1990s. Through the first decade of the new millennium, as he led the Lady Tigers to a national championship, 3 state championships, 8 state basketball tournament appearances through his 14-year tenure as head coach from 1999 to 2012. Hensley arrived at Lincoln in 1998 and quickly set the standard for future teams would have to live by as he led the Lady Tigers to an undefeated mark of 30-0 in 1999. Hensley's march to his first state championship wasn't easy, as Lincoln defeated a pair of state powers along the way, as the team has been regarded as one of the all-time best teams in Texas girls basketball history. Over the course of Hensley's career, it was either Austin or bust for the Lady Tigers, as the 2001 season began an impressive string of 5 consecutive appearances from 01 to 05 to the state tournament, including 4 straight seasons from 01 to 04 in the finals. Everybody was packing their bag to the Final Four. Hensley led the Lady Tigers back to the top of the championship podium as they capped off his second state championship with a 30-1 finish in 2004. 4 years later, Lincoln reclaimed his throne as Hensley captured his 3rd state title in 2008. In 2005, Coach Hensley received the opportunity to coach some of the finest basketball talent in the nation, as he has served as an assistant coach to the USA Basketball Women's Youth Development Festival. He also had the plethora of student athletes earn college scholarships, with several having the opportunity to compete professionally in the Olympics, the WNBA, and or overseas. Coach Hensley has also been named his district's Coach of the Year 13 times, while also named Texas Association of Basketball Coach of the Year in 2004. Off the court, Coach Hensley's former students were just as impressive in the classroom, as he coached a total of 8 valedictorians and salutatorians throughout his tenure at Lincoln, getting the job done on and off the court. Watch this film on Coach Hensley.
I was the head girls basketball coach at Lincoln Humanities and Communications High School. I was there 14 years, and I just looked at it as my ministry, and I just took it to heart to try and do more than just coach or win games. It became a drive to get my young ladies more or less focused on graduating. I wanted to be an ambassador for the community. The district allowed us to play a national schedule. We traveled across the country. We got to visit universities while we were out there playing. There's a saying at Lincoln, the road to Austin runs through South Dallas. So it was just customary and expected that the program would succeed. I used to tell the girls all the time, unfortunately, my wife and I lost a little girl. They became the only girls that my wife and I would ever have. And that was a major impact on me. And to this day, I'm grateful. The teachers at Lincoln were phenomenal. They would coach, I need your help. And I think they respected me in terms of helping them. I wouldn't take the girls' side all the time. We were there together. To me, allowed us to have the greatest accomplishment that I had while I was at Lincoln. And that is, over the 14 years I was there, I could be wrong this, but I'm getting the information totally together. I think I had something like 8 valedictorians or salutatorians in the graduating class that played basketball for me. Coming out of South Dallas, we were a classic group. Those young ladies, after losses, held their heads up, showed true sportsmanship, and walked out like the champions that they are. And I just began to think about all the people that helped me along the way. The list is endless. And my coaching staff, all of those parents, it's just really a true, in my opinion, depiction of community, school coming together to accomplish a common goal for some students.
Put your hands together for Coach Michael Hensley.
For the first time, ladies and gentlemen, I think I just didn't know how to approach this podium after viewing that video and looking out in the audience tonight. Such a pleasant surprise to see some of the people I used to work with. I'm truly grateful for all that are in attendance. I'd like to thank the committee. I'd like to recognize the honorees, Dallas ISD. Dr. Henholzer, let me be the first tonight to recommend you for the Hall of Fame. Your longevity, your productivity, everything that you've done. And this man allowed me, along with Troy Matthew, and the staff and administration at Lincoln High School to set some goals for some kids that I hope and pray that they really, really cherish and believe was good for their lives. My family, my wife, my sons, thank you. My in-laws, my friends, all that are here in attendance, I love you. I want to thank somebody that's real special. You know, as a coach, a lot of times we get requests from students and parents, and the question is real simple, is, Coach, put me in. Coach, put me in. I want to start with my high school coach, Coach Ray Bratton. He's here tonight. Little did he know back then when we were in high school, he set a standard, he set a bar. We were the only program, basketball-wise, at the high school that did not receive Letterman jackets. And he said we would not get one unless we won the state championship. And he didn't know until he brought me up off the JV team in the playoffs that he was going to win, because I was that guy. And the thing the most that a lot of people don't understand, it's never really about the X's and O's. It's all about the camaraderie and the chemistry. And he said, he showed me the way. Back then, he struggled so hard to get over the top. The one thing that, in our opinion back then, we thought it was the referee's fault. So what he did is he started playing more players. He said, if you're going to call those fouls on me, I'm going to give you some more players to call them on. And the numbers panned out to be that deciding factor. And I took that with me, Coach, and I used it at Lincoln High School. I want to thank you. The Lincoln faculty put me in. If you work with me at Lincoln High School, would you please stand, faculty-wise? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you feel. I know everybody love their high school. I'm not from Lincoln, but I'm now a true adopted resident citizen of sunny South Dallas. And Lincoln High School, or Lincoln Humanities Communications Magnet High School, was the best. Those people helped me keep my student athletes just that, in the true sense of the word, student athletes. Thank you for putting me in. My coaching staff, if you're here, any of you, please stand. Just let me tell you, where's Corey? Corey, stand, man. Larry, stand. This young man right here has been working for Lincoln for years for free. He takes his time, statistician, and more than anything, he's that guy that stands there and never, ever says anything negative about the direction that the leader is taking. And totally supportive, man. I really appreciate that for you. And Corey, we put together a plan one year for the girls, and it was a pilot program to see and evaluate why young ladies were having injuries. And we took that program, and at that year, unbelievable thing happened. We won the state championship with 7 players. And at Lincoln, you know we don't walk up the floor. Can you imagine that? 7 players. Thank you, guys. I want my players that are here tonight. Please stand. These young ladies constantly berate me about which was the better team. 99, 04, 08. And I always tell them you all were in your own way. So I'm going to settle it tonight, right? The best team was our team, Lincoln High School. The faculty, players, administration, forever be the best team. I want to say to the Hall of Fame committee, put me in. And if you do, I will accept it with all my heart. One love. Thank you.
Coach. Very nice. Our next inductee, Rodolfo Jaramillo. Everybody knows Rudy. Rudy Jaramillo has been playing a major role behind the scenes in the development and success for some of Major League Baseball's biggest stars and Hall of Famers throughout his coaching career. Jaramillo grew up in Oak Cliff, and is a graduate of Sunset High School. After graduating from Sunset, he spent 2 years at Panola College before moving on to the University of Texas prior to the 1973 season. Jaramillo lettered one season at UT and was drafted in the 29th round of the Major League Baseball draft by the Texas Rangers as an outfielder. He spent 4 seasons in the major leagues before embarking on a legendary coaching career, which was primarily spent in the state of Texas. Jaramillo started from the ground floor as he worked with Little League Baseball in Dallas from 77 to 82. In his final Little League season, he managed the 1982 Sandy Koufax League World Champions. He rejoined the Texas Rangers as a minor league manager from 1984 to 86 before transitioning to a minor league hitting instructor for the next 3 seasons. Jaramillo made his major league coaching debut with the Houston Astros as the team's hitting coach in 1990 and spent 4 years with the Astros during the team's youth movement. While with the Astros, he tutored future Major League Baseball Hall of Famers Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio. In 1994, Jaramillo returned to managing in the minors before returning home to the Metroplex in 1995 as the hitting coach for the Texas Rangers. While with the Rangers, Jaramillo helped rewrite the record books during his tenure as the team was an offensive juggernaut with a total of 17 Silver Slugger awards, 4 MVP awards, 3 home run titles, 2 RBI championships, and a batting title. Jaramillo guided the Rangers to 13 consecutive seasons in which the offense recorded more than 800 runs scored, the longest streak by any major league team since the New York Yankees from the 26 to 42 seasons. Baseball America in 2005 named Jaramillo Major League Coach of the Year. In 2005, the Rangers came within 4 homers of the all-time team record for a season. After 15 years with the Rangers, Jaramillo spent 4 seasons with the Chicago Cubs before his retirement in 2012. For his service to the sport of baseball, he has been inducted into the Texas Baseball, Panola College, and Hispanic Heritage Baseball Museum's Hall of Fames. In 2007, he was awarded the South Texas Baseball Lifetime Achievement Award given by the Corpus Christi Hooks. Ladies and gentlemen, please watch this video of Rudy Jaramillo.
I was always into baseball growing up, playing probably 5, 6 years old. I was born in Beeville, Texas. Moved here about 10, and I continued. You know, I can remember the field. It was in West Dallas on Singleton, Baton, but there was a social center there. And that's where I went every day, and I love sports, and just kind of went from there. But once I got to Dallas, my favorite sport was football. And, you know, my whole career was probably baseball, but my fondest memories was football, which to me, I was a better football player than I was a baseball player in high school. The camaraderie, you know, that I felt, you know, in Oak Cliff, you know, the teachers were great, the coaches were great, like I was saying, and, you know, I needed discipline, and that's what I got. I needed direction, and I learned all that. And then once I became a coach, well, I instilled all those things that I learned into to my players. Before that, I went to the Astrodome to a game. And never in my life I was going to think that I was going to be in a big league park. And my first big league job was with the Houston Astros in 1990. And I always looked at that spot that I was there as an 18-year-old kid watching the game by third base way up high. I was going, wow, I never would have thought that I was going to be on that field someday. And it just turned out that way. Just every kid's ambition is to be drafted at some point. So you get the opportunity to play at the big league level. And of course, that's your dream, and that's what I was chasing. And you know, I feel good because I did accomplish that. I played well enough at University of Texas to be able to get drafted. And after I quit playing, I became a coach, and I was blessed to be a coach in the big league for 22 years. I was with the Astros 4 years. I was with the Texas Rangers 15 years, and then I finished with the Chicago Cubs 3 years. Elementary, junior high, and high school, you know, how great a time I had in that era, growing up in Oak Cliff. I had some great coaches with discipline, and, you know, gave me the right direction, and had a great time, you know. In my mind, it was just all good memories throughout my whole years in the ISD.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most beloved figures in Texas Rangers baseball history, Rudy Jaramillo.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for everybody being here. And I want to thank all the Sunset Bisons that are here that coming to support me tonight. And I want to thank all the inductees. Y'all are great. You've done great for athletes and throughout the Dallas area. When I was I moved here when I was 10 years old from South Texas. I moved into West Dallas, went to Sidley Lanier. And then my mom thought, you know, West Dallas was pretty rough at that time, so we moved to Oak Cliff. And went to Winnetka a couple of years, and then from there I went to Idaho 2 years, Griner 2 years, and then Sunset. And had some great times. And I think the thing that I really remember most really is obviously the teachers that I had and all the support that I got from them. All the coaches at all those different levels, they were great. They gave me discipline that I needed. I was a street rat, and man, I needed to get back going in the right track. And then I became a cage rat, so it was a good thing. Two, I want to thank all the principals that I had at all the different schools because they gave me the discipline. I remember at Griner getting taken down to the boiler room several times. And man, that paddle, I didn't feel good, but you know, back then that's what happens. That's the way it was. Another little story, when I first got to Winnetka, I was there in the 4th grade, and I was a troublemaker coming back from West Dallas, and I will never forget. The teacher was a lady principal, and she was going to make an example. So she went to my room, the classroom, pulled me out of the classroom. She had her board, and she spanked me right in the hallway. You could hear it. You can imagine the echoing. And she trying to get my attention, everybody else. So I thank those principals today and all those coaches that gave me that discipline. And then when I became a coach, I was a dead disciplinarian. I didn't care who it was. And that's how I went about it. I was a red ass as a coach, and I was always in my guys' faces, not in public, but just one-on-one. And I loved them, but I knew and the reason I could do that because when I coached, the first thing that in my mind was, I got to win this guy's respect. And that's what I did. That was my whole objective, win their respect, and then I got them, and then we can go from there. And that's the times that I, think back and all the different athletes that I had, but you're only as good as your athletes. So I thank them. And also, I want to thank Coach Chris Castile at Sunset because he's had me over at Sunset talking to the kids, and I love doing it. And he's bringing other people over there, and he's trying to turn it around. He's doing a great job, and hopefully that, I can come by there, and I've been trying to talk to the kids and let them know that I lived 4 blocks from that practice field, and I was always there working. So thanks, Coach. Another special person that I like to recognize is Jerry Rome. Where are you, Jerry? Jerry and I go way back. Jerry came in a real crucial time in my life. I think I was 13, 14 years old. Jerry was just left SMU, I believe, and he was at the University of Tulsa, and he was a summer coach in the parks. He was a college quarterback, and he needed to throw the football, and I was a guy. I was a lucky guy, because all summer long, every day, he did his work, and I was trying to catch his ball, and he threw the ball so hard that at first, he told him, I'll never forget, he said, hey, you need to focus out here in front on the nipple of that football, because I was catching it here, and I'd go home with little red dots. And that was an NFL arm, and I was 13, 14. This next year, Howard Tweely, his receiver at Tulsa, who rewrote every record there is, came to Oak Cliff and stayed with Jerry, and I tried to cover him. I couldn't cover him, but I tried. So Jerry, thank you so much, and appreciate all you did for me. And another gentleman, Felix Ortega, who's not here, he's my baseball mentor, and I want to thank him for all he did. And the way I got to professional sports was I played, got out of the game. I blamed the game. It wasn't me. Well, anyway, I started coaching Little League, and we were fortunate that we won a Sandy Koufax National Championship. I just started helping the team, and the next year I joined them. We won a Sandy Koufax World Series. At the time, I was in Oak Cliff. I lacked 20 hours to get my degree, and I never went back. So what happened, we were drinking beer in my garage one day, and all my buddies, and I said, hey, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get a job with the Rangers. And they all said, man, you're crazy. They're going to run you off, tell you no. So I got my little clippings, and I went to Ranger Stadium, knocked on the door. I told him that I wanted to talk to the general manager. At the time was Joe Klein. The lady looked at me, and she knew I'd played with the Rangers and so forth, so waited about an hour. I was sweating. And finally got a chance, and I said, hey, Joe, this is what I've been doing. I showed him a little clippings. He thought about it. 2 days later, Tom Gree was the farm director in the minor leagues. He called me. I had an interview. They gave me the job. And that's where it started. And because where I was in Oak Cliff, it wasn't going in a good direction. So I was so thankful for that job, and then it ended up with my career. One of the most important things, obviously, is your family. And I want to thank all my families here in table 15, my grandson, Santana, Jalen, and my son-in-law, George Lynch. My nephew, Ricky, Ruth Ann, and Rocky Saldana. And this table here, they were some of my wife's best friends. I'll get to her in a minute. So thank you so much, and thank you for everything. And I want to thank my son, Dr. Justin Jaramillo, and his wife, Dr. LaDonna Saxon. Thank you so much. And this table here, the Sunset Bisons on table 26. Thank you so much. Another couple of friends back here, John and Don Randall. Don Randall was a great shot putter and discus thrower, played at SMU. So thank you so much, guys. Last two people, my mom, 94 years old in Oak Cliff right now. She didn't want to come. That's fine. She's telling me like it is. She's either watching soap opera or she's watching a baseball game for sure. During the day, she'll watch the Cubs. Whatever game's on, she'll watch. The last person I want to give all my love and gratitude to was my wife of 47 years. She passed in 17 of ovarian cancer, and believe me, she's the reason I'm here. She straightened me out in a lot of ways in my life, and she was one of a kind, believe me, and I miss her so much, and I just have to live and learn how to live without her, but she's in my heart every second. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rudy. That was awesome. Our next inductee is a very beautiful person. In fact, he named his radio show The Beautiful Harvey Martin Show. The late, great Harvey Martin's path to NFL stardom quietly began in South Oak Cliff High School as a member of the first racially integrated class in the city of Dallas. 2-year letterman, Martin picked up pads for the first time in his life as a high school junior and quickly ascended to the game of football as he moved to the defensive side of the ball and led team into a deep state playoff run in his senior season. Despite his success on the gridiron, Martin fielded only one scholarship offer, and he enrolled at East Texas State University in Commerce. Martin flourished at East Texas State and developed into a dominant defensive end as he was selected an Associated Press Little Football News and NAIA All-American en route to leading the Lions to a national title as a senior in 1972. He completed his career as a 2-time All-Lone Star Conference performer for 71 and 72. The Dallas Cowboys took notice of Martin's talent and selected him in the 3rd round of the 1973 NFL Draft. After 4 years in the NFL, Martin began to blossom into one of the top defenders in the NFL as he appeared in his first Pro Bowl after the 1976 season before leading the Cowboys with 85 tackles, 23 sacks, that's still an unofficial record, in 1977. Also during the 77 campaign, Martin led the Cowboys to the Super Bowl championship and was named the co-MVP with Randy White. Martin was also named the league's Defensive Player of the Year and earned All-Pro honors. A very beautiful time. Martin would go on to appear in 2 more Pro Bowls and receive All-Pro honors in 78 and 79 before his retirement in 1983. Prior to his retirement, Martin took advantage of his popularity and was an entrepreneur in addition to serving as a local and TV and radio personality in the area. 1987, Martin was named to the Lone Star Football Conference Hall of Fame and entered the Texas Sports Hall of Fame in 2009. In 2007, Martin was selected to the Lone Star Conference 75th anniversary football team and was named LSC Defensive Player of the Decade for the 70s. In addition, he earned his first team defensive lineman honors for the LSC Conference football team of the 1970s and was selected to the LSC All 25-year team as well, where he was recognized as the best defensive player and a first-team defensive lineman. Martin also had a collegiate classic football game played annually in Dallas named after him. The beautiful Harvey Martin passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2001 in Grapevine. Over 1,000 friends, fans, and family said goodbye at Prestonwood Baptist Church in Plano. Let's look at the highlights of one Harvey Martin.
Harvey was just really the type person that was really a big teddy bear. You just really didn't know it till you really got involved with him. Harvey was an easygoing guy. However, on the field, you wouldn't know that.
Harvey was the superstar of the family. Harvey instilled in me for as being in the limelight, being in the public. There's a certain way you have to carry yourself, a certain way you have to act. Harvey was more of the businessman in the family.
I knew him as Dad, whereas everybody else knew him as the beautiful Harvey Martin, or too mean Harvey Martin. Fun to be around, caring, loving, always making sure I was on the right track.
Harvey was not an athlete initially. Harvey became an athlete because my father, and that's when he went out for the football team at Sarah Zumwalt. And then he went to J.N. Irving. He was on the football team there. And then he went to South Oak Cliff. Coach Jett was the coach that really pumped the guys up. Harvey was the one that everybody really just loved. And he had more of a commanding role with his teammates. And so he was the one that Coach Jett could actually count on. I remember Harvey was in high school and go to the Cotton Bowl to watch the Dallas Cowboys practice because they would practice there. Never did we ever think that that's where he'd actually build his career. We grew up in a very restricted family household. And then when you get out there and you're going through the pains and trials and tribulations, it's one thing to do that not in the limelight. It's another thing to do it in the limelight. He learned that you have to be very careful with the people you let in your circle. And that was one of the things he wanted to get across to the youth. He gave his best to others. And education was key. And so that's how the Harvey Martin Dream Foundation came about.
I miss him. I wish he was here today. Me and my cousin to get in the Hall of Fame at the same time on the same day. And I think if he were here today, I think we'd have been like, it's just big celebration. It would have been one of these historical moments. You got two Martins going into the Hall of Fame at the same time.
You have the NFL Sports Hall of Fame. I feel like he would be just as excited about the Dallas ISD Hall of Fame because that's how much he loves his city.
Please welcome to the stage the sister of Harvey Martin, the beautiful Mary Martin. And his daughter, Chase Martin.
Well, I don't have to say anything. We said it all already. So we don't need a 3-minute. I got 3 seconds. I would like, Mary Martin, I would like to say hello. I'd like to thank everyone, especially the sponsors. I'd like to thank the participants, and especially the DISD for keeping Harvey's legacy alive, or at least helping to keep it alive. It's an honor to the Martin family. Now, I'm not much on speaking, so I brought my backup. Typically, Harvey would be the backup, but his children are just like him. So as Chase Martin, you saw her on the video, and this is his son, DeVincent Martin, and they would like to say a little something, and we'll keep it to a minimum, okay?
Hi, I'm Chase Martin, and I have a little something prepared for you guys. I am the daughter of Harvey Martin and also a fellow DISD graduate. It is an honor to posthumously accept this award on behalf of my father and the Martin family. Many of you know him as Too Mean Harvey Martin, the All-Pro Super Bowl winning MVP, Dallas Cowboy. But we all start somewhere, and his start was a student in DISD, a graduate from South Oak Cliff High School. One of the joys in his life was making an impact for the youth in his community. And one way that he did that was by going to high schools and speaking with the students. One of his greatest joys was visiting South Oak Cliff High School and speaking with the football team. He especially liked to visit them. And one of my fondest memories is when he would come to OW Homes during my cheer practice and coach the football team there. While I was at cheerleading practice, I wasn't a big sports person. He would have loved that, but I like to cheer. If he were here today, he would be elated to be recognized by the very system from which he came. Especially here with his cousin, Robot. He loved Dallas and he loved DISD. Today, my family has the Harvey Martin Dream Foundation established in his honor. It was established by my Aunt Mary Martin. And through the foundation, we aspire to uplift students to higher education so that they can achieve their greatest dreams, whether that's being a lawyer, a doctor, a businessman, or an NFL superstar. We look to help them achieve those dreams through scholarships to various universities. In fact, we'll be hosting our 3rd annual Harvey Martin Dream Foundation Evening of Excellence Scholarship Gala right here in the Sheraton next week. You can find out more about the Harvey Martin Dream Foundation by going to harveymartindreamfoundation.com. On behalf of the Martin family and my father, we definitely thank you guys so much. Did you have anything to say?
My name is DeVinson Martin. I really don't have anything prepared, but I thought I'd take a quick second to tell you how important my father was to me. You know, most people don't know what it's like to be under pressure with someone who never loses, who doesn't know anything about losing. But as I stand here today, I'm very happy because my father instilled in me something that a lot of people don't get, and that's being a winner. He didn't understand losing, and so he didn't understand me losing. And so I was always blessed, and today I stand here blessed, and I'm thankful for the ISD for putting my father into this distinguished Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Thank y'all very much. Let me say one thing about Harvey real quick. He was not only a friend, he was a coworker. I worked with him in radio as well. I covered him. For those who never had a chance to enjoy Harvey Martin, the best thing I can tell you, especially for the kids, he was Shaq before Shaq. I'm serious. He was Shaq before Shaq. He was very intimidating on the field, or Shaq is intimidating on the basketball court, but off it, he had all this personality. He was so much fun, and that's why, you know, he was just a bubbly character. Again, the great, beautiful Harvey Martin. We're going to keep it in the family. Our next inductee, Roy Robot Martin, considered one of the greatest sprinters of all time. Roy Robot Martin prepped at Roosevelt High School under the legendary head coach Ernest James. Martin burst on the scene as a junior in 1984 as he was named Mayo Prep Athlete of the Year by Track and Field News. Finished 4th in the 200 meters of the 84 Olympic trials. As a senior in 1985, Robot set the 200-meter high school national record for all competitions when he ran a 20.13 at the state championship, a record that it stood until 2 years ago. Martin's time is still the national record for high school-only competitions, according to Track and Field News, and it is the second best high school time ever for all competitors. That same year, he also recorded the fastest prep time in the nation in the 100-meter dash at 10.18 seconds and anchored his high school 4x100-meter and 4x400-meter relay teams to marks of 40.26 and 4x100 and 3 minutes 9.4 seconds in the 4x400 that are among the fastest ever recorded in high school competition. Upon his graduation from Roosevelt, Martin ran at SMU and helped the Mustangs win the 1986 NCAA Track and Field Championships as a freshman. 2 years later, Martin competed in the 1988 Summer Olympics, where he finished 6th in the 200-meter. Upon his retirement from track and field, Robot remained active in the local and track field scene in Dallas as a coach on the high school and club levels. He was named to the Texas Track and Field Hall of Fame in 2013 and was recently named to the National High School Track and Field Hall of Fame. Please enjoy this video of Roy Robot Martin.
I think track and field chose me. And it started at elementary, at Jamesburg Elementary School, from the field days. And then it went from junior high school, from Coach Quentin. And then Coach James has propelled me to a whole new different level. Going to Roosevelt football team back then was very successful. The basketball team was very successful. And you had the people like the Jeffrey Jacobs, he played football, that I looked up to. And you had the Cartwrights, that was just the next Michael Jordan at that time. Mark Tolliver was more my mentor, my idol. I wanted to be like Mark, I wanted to run like Mark Tolliver. Mark kept me to the point to where it was focus. It was business and focus. Gary Jefferson was one of our other captains. Gary Jefferson was the one that kept me in line. Track is a team sport. And track and field is something that you have to have it here. And then when you have it here, you have it here. My teammates, we all was just like one big family. Coach James was just so much of a father figure to where anything that came up in my life, I always used to pick up the phone. Coach James was always available. He always revert back to that tough times. Tough people last and tough times don't. What my vision is for the young kids, to inspire the young kids. Let someone else take the realm to be the next Roy Robot Martin, or be the next Christy Gaines, or the next Michael Johnson, or the next Michael Carter, that we paved the way and put down the foundation and give this back to the kids so they can give back and just keep it going. They can just give it back, and then they give back and give back. I think my impact in the sport and track and field, what I did from junior high to high school to SMU to the Olympics, I did a lot of things at a young age. When I was 17 years old, I always remained humble and stayed focused. And now to get this induction from DISD, to get the recognition from DISD, and then to get the title from being the greatest high school sprinter of all times. Great honor, it's a great privilege. It's abundance of joy. And to be considered into the Hall of Fame with DISD is just, it's a God blessing.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one-time fastest man on the planet, Roy Robot Martin.
Good evening. First of all, I want to give honor to God, allowing me to be here today and to tell my story. My table is number 18 over there. They told me we have 3 minutes, and I see this clock is ticking. So I'm going to talk like I used to run. Real fast and simple. Table 18, will you please stand? In the black, you have Darius Williams. Man, you became friends back in 2001 when you and I had a little incident on the phone about the comparison of Michael Johnson. And I told you to never compare me to Michael Johnson. Remember that conversation? And I'm sorry, you know, Mike is Mike, I'm Roy. Latasha Woods in the white over there. I want to thank you for being in my life and introduced me back to Christ when I lost my faith, when I was going through that troubled time in my life. With Shonda Spencer Austin. She's the crazy one in the family, but that's my sister. I love her. She's the one that kept me grounded. When I get out of control, she keeps me in control. Tony L. Johnson, the empire, the woman, alumni nation at Dallas Roosevelt. You and I had our differences when I was going through my trying time, and it always kept in my mind what Coach James said. Tough people last, tough times don't. And again, my apologies to you again. my frat brother, my LB, in the white, Edwin Knox. You've been there for me since 2008, spring '08. We've been through the blood, sweat, and tears. And to have a frat brother, to have an LB as you, I love you, my man. There's no one can ever take your place. Now, last but least, country boy from Marshall, Kevin Oxford. Me and you met at a company, trucking company, we both reside together. Kevin seen me at my weakest. Kevin seen me at my lowest. Kevin seen me at my highest. I have so much respect and so much love for you. You never was a person that was being a negative person toward me. And it's an honor, it's a privilege to have worked with you and still remain friends outside the workplace. Much love to you, boss. There's a lot of people. How much time I got left, Chris? I got a little bit of time? Gotcha. I want to thank my teammates, Bruce Davis, Jeffrey Jacobs, Carl Wright, Mark Tolliver, Anthony Milton, Kevin Carton, rest in peace, Walter Foster, rest in peace. Who I'm missing? Anthony Milton, Gary Jefferson, AP, Johnny Piper, all my teammates. And please forgive me if I'm, forgetting some. I'm a little older, mine a little slower than my legs are. And most of all, he's not here, but he tried to get here, McClinton Neal, for giving me the opportunity to showcase my talent at the age of 51 and 52 years old. When we competed in the last race, the Batman versus the Joker. Of course, he was the Joker, I was the Batman. Of course, Batman won. And there may be another trilogy. I spoke with Troy Matthews about 2 weeks ago. Joe DeLoach, he's a 1988 gold medalist, and Carl Lewis, King Carl. We in negotiations right now to do another race. And the first race is going to be here at Dallas ISD. And so this is some things coming that we would like to do, implement with Dallas ISD's track. We want to bring back the funk, the spunk back in track and field at Dallas ISD. Last but least, Roosevelt opened up in 1963. Coach Raymond Holly, Coach Leon Hayes, and then the legendary coach himself, my alma mater, my coach, my father, Ernest James. Ernest James was the one that kept me grounded, kept me in tune, kept me in sync. And not to get him in trouble, but back then when they was able to paddle, Coach James lit me up. And that changed my life and my future and my whole perspective on things. And I just want to say it's an honor, it's a privilege to accept this award from DISD. And Mr. Harley Holzer, I remember you at Sunset as a coach, and now you're the superintendent. And Mr. Troy Matthews, where are you at? My man. Chris Arnold. We go back long back, way back. I remember Chris did an interview with me when the Dallas Cowboys in 1988 offered me a contract to play with the Cowboys, and I spoke with Chris and told Chris, I don't think I want to do that. I want to play football. Chris told me I was crazy. But it was my decision, and my goal and my dream was track and field. And on behalf of all my teammates and everybody that went to Dallas Roosevelt, Mr. Lou Blackburn, coach up under Coach James, ran up for Coach James, I'm accepting this award for all my teammates and all my competitors who I competed against. I'm sorry that y'all came number 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, I'm number one, but what can I say? How much time I got? 2 minutes? 1 second? I'm out? Gotcha. All right, I gotta go. Much love.
He's trying to threaten Freddie James' record. I told Freddie I'm going to protect that record of the longest speech of all time. Congratulations, Robot. Our next inductee, he's a legendary boys basketball coach, J.D. Mayo. His impact on the game of basketball has spanned nearly 5 decades in North Texas. During his illustrious career on the hardwood, Mayo made the biggest difference in the lives of Dallas ISD student-athletes as the winningest head coach in district history during a 33-year span at Skyline High School. A graduate of East Texas State in Commerce, Mayo began his storied career at Spruce High School as an assistant coach under John Paul Fultz for 5 seasons. Mayo was handed the keys to his own program in 1976 at Skyline and made the most of his opportunity as he built the program from the ground up into one of the most successful programs in the state of Texas. Mayo won 698 games during his 33-year career at Skyline and was named the National High School Basketball Coach of the Year in 2000 by the National High School Athletic Coaches Association. In addition to serving as head coach of three All-Star games in the state of Texas during his tenure, he was also honored with a pair of Make a Difference awards for Fox Sports Southwest and High School Extra in 2003. Out of the 100-plus former students who've earned scholarships under Mayo, he's best known for the development of former UNLV and NBA superstar Larry Johnson and current NBA player C.J. Miles, who holds the distinction of being the only player from DISD to go straight from high school to the NBA. A former president of the Texas Association of Basketball Coaches, Mayo retired in 2017 after compiling 808 career wins with an additional head coaching stops at Nocona and Joshua High Schools. Mayo, whose name was etched on Skyline's new gymnasium in 2011, has been recognized by a variety of organizations across the state of Texas for his work on and off the court over the years. He will be inducted into the Texas High School Basketball Hall of Fame this May. Next month. Watch this video of the great Coach J.D. Mayo.
Hawks out! Hawks out! Hawks out!
Well, it's one of the most important things that coaches do is to motivate and inspire. And as Zig Ziglar visited with my students and players back in my first year in education, he said, Coach, the words that come out of your mouth, the words, your body language, your handshake, your smile, everything about you is going to motivate or demotivate whoever you're with. And so with that being said, we had a system in the classroom, we had a system in the gymnasium. And it was a pretty simple system, but it was always about what's best for the youngsters. So we would greet them all with a high five, a handshake, call them by name, make it personal. Everything that we tried to do, we tried to be intentional with it, and we tried to make it very personal for each kid in that classroom because they are special. You know, education is one of the greatest professions in the world. Educators, coaches, teachers, we're leaders, and all leadership is influence. And we teach that to my students and players that you can be a leader. I'm very humbled and very thankful of this honor. It's really all about the students, players, and the assistant coaches that we've had over these many decades. If the players buy in, I call it totally compelled to what you're doing. And if the parents buy in as well, it's just a double blessing. It's just real special. And I accept this award for all of our former players and coaching staffs and students. A special thanks to the Dallas Independent School District. Gave me the opportunity for 38 years to teach and coach the best students and players in the world.
Put your hands together, man. Welcome to the stage, the legend, Coach J.D. Mayo.
Thank you very much. I'm very humbled and deeply appreciative of this honor, and it's to God be the glory. All honor to Him. Thank you, Dallas ISD, nominating committee, athletic department, and others for this honor. Congratulations to the other nominees and families, and I'm very blessed today to have family and extended family here. I'm grateful that my bride is here, Suzanne, my son Jason and his family, Christian, Ladarius, and London. And Jason was an integral part of our program because for decades he would coach our fall, summer, spring leagues, and our shootouts. He'd volunteer his time. My daughter, Christy, and her family, Aiden and Landry. My sister, Glenda, and her daughter, I'm not sure where they are, Jocelyn and Richard. Thank you very much for being here. Also very thankful for my brother-in-law and pastor, Harry Lee Sewell. He was one of the greatest financial supporters, and he attended over half of our basketball games. I would tease him and say that he helps me coach and I help him pastor. We're also grateful for Sandy and Dorothy Wilson. They're the Skyline Alumni Directors. Thank you for being here. And Howard Coleman over here in the wheelchair. He served with me. He volunteered for many, many years. Eric Jackson, 1982 graduate. He just retired as a special agent in charge of the FBI in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He had over 600 employees. We're grateful that he is with us here tonight as well. We have the Hill and Jones family from Nocona, somewhere back here. A bunch of them came, and thank you very much. Thank you for my boots, my square-toed cowboy boots. I'm still waiting for my saddle and the horse. I do have the belt on as well, award in your honor. We also have a lot of former players and students and colleagues here, and I would like for my family and the former players, colleagues, the Brown family, I see them over there as well, and if I overlook some folks, I'm sorry, but would all of you stand, please? These are the people that I'm very much indebted to. I think over here, oh, yeah. Thank y'all very, very much. It was a tremendous honor and privilege to serve the best students and players in the world. Coaching, education is an awesome profession. It's the greatest ministry in the world. Billy Graham, he said a coach will impact more people in 1 year than the average person in a lifetime. It's a huge calling to be a coach, an educator. You know, we all have a marketplace. We can't be everywhere, but we're somewhere all the time. And it's our job to make a difference in the kids' lives and the people that we're around. I was very fortunate. I invited Zig Ziglar my first year to come to Spruce High School. After several phone calls, he finally came. And he spent the day talking to my students and to our players. And I'll never forget some of the wisdom. He said, "Coach, always remember the words, your body language, whatever you say, whatever you do, it will motivate or demotivate." He also said, "You never know when a moment in time will change the life of a person with just an encouraging word." It was a tremendous honor to share this accolade with our players and our fans and supporters. I am truly humbled to be here tonight, and I really appreciate this opportunity. Our program was all about people. We bounced the ball, but it was about the people. In the classroom, it was about the students. In the hallway, it was every student was important. And I just really appreciated them buying in to our system because it was a little different. We tried to encourage them and give them hope every day. We all have different talents, gifts, and abilities. Those are God's gifts. But character is a choice, and character has to be taught. Some people call that old school. I just call it the right school. You know, we stand on the shoulders of a lot of people. And I believe in heavenly angels, but I also believe in angels with skin. There's a lot of people that's made a difference in my life. And the following are some of the people that made up the house that built us. I go back, I was born and raised in the free state of Van Zandt County. That's in the country. Much credit to my godly parents who taught my siblings and me about faith, family, church, and the golden rule. The golden rule is treat people the way that you would like to be treated. And I stand on that today. My first grade teacher, Miss Moore, I told her when I grow up, I want to be just like you. I want to be an educator. Stayed in touch with her. She lived to be nearly 100 years old. She moved me. Had an English teacher named Pat Cook. She said 3 of the most important words I'd ever heard. In front of my dad, she said, "You are special." Try that sometime, telling somebody that you love, that you care about, that they're special. I never forgot it. I just talked to her a couple of days ago. She's 90 plus years old. You know, life's about relationships. My career began in 1971, and I'm very thankful to Mr. Bruce Norman, who's now deceased, for giving me that opportunity to coach. He accepted me as a student teacher after a couple of weeks. He offered me a job as a teacher and a coach. And unbeknownst to me, the head basketball coach was Coach John Paul Fultz. And as a little kid growing up in the free state of Van Zandt County, he was my hero. He was my boyhood basketball idol because I would read the newspaper. Once I got introduced to basketball as a little kid by James Leo Stanley, my cousin. In fact, his sister is here, Hilda Stanley and her friend Joe. Thank y'all very much for being here. John Paul Fultz was an all-state player from Dallas Samuel. He went on to the University of Texas as well, and I served with him for 5 years. That was quite a blessing for me. And after serving 5 years, the head coach at Skyline, he's here today, Lewis Orr, hired me as an assistant, and Coach Orr stayed a couple of months, never coached a basketball game. He left for Navarre College, and he stayed there, and he finished his coaching career of about 50 years, and he's in the Hall of Fame as well, in the Junior College Hall of Fame. But Coach Orr gave me that opportunity. Then when he left, it was the great principal at Skyline High School, Frank Guzik, who promoted me as head coach. And I'll always be very grateful to Mr. Guzik for doing that. Basketball and education helped change my life. And I'll just always be thankful for those handfuls on purpose that came my way, whether it was a teacher, an educator. I remember Mr. Bruce Norman, the principal, asked me to start a Fellowship of Christian Athletes huddle. And so I went to the meeting. I sat down. I turned to my right, and there was a legendary Coach Tom Landry at an FCA meeting. That was the handful on purpose that I needed to weave my purpose in life with my passion in life in a public school setting. It was exactly what I needed. I'll always be grateful to our players. Thank you so much for buying in and giving everything that you can give, because we taught you to give your best at everything, whether it was in the academics, whether it's in basketball, at home, away from home. We tried to give our youngsters a lot of first and a lot of opportunities. We traveled to tournaments in the state of Texas. We traveled to tournaments in other states. We flew to New York City for competition. So I'm just very grateful for all of our players and parents that bought in and made it happen. Get everything out of life that you can. Serve others. I'll repeat that one. Serve others. Serve others. Do all the good that you can, as long as you can. Never, never give up. My prayer is that the Lord bless you and protect you, that the Lord smile on your face and be gracious to you, and that He'll show favor and give you peace. God bless you.
Coach J.D. Mayo, looking at those nice new boots, and all I could think about was, I'm gonna ride my horse down the old town road. We're gonna. Y'all know that song. And if you don't know that song, you know, you better know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. While you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. All right. We're having too much fun in here. Right now, I'd like to introduce to you our next inductee, We've got 2 inductees left, y'all, and they are outstanding. Barbara Brown-McCoy is considered a trailblazer in Dallas ISD athletics for her accomplishments as a student athlete, head coach, and administrator at South Oak Cliff Sock High School. Brown-McCoy is one of the first beneficiaries of the recently passed Title IX legislation. in 1972 as she honed her skills at Zumwalt Junior High before moving over to SOC in 1974. Didn't take long for Brown-McCoy to display her athletic prowess as she excelled in track and field, volleyball, and basketball. She was a city champion in the aforementioned sport, but became most known for her efforts in the game of basketball. Under the guidance of legendary head coach Gary Blair, Brown-McCoy was a natural in basketball. With girls basketball under the 6-on-6 format at the time, oh yeah, 6-on-6 back in the day, Brown-McCoy spent most of her time on the defensive end of the court and was a prolific shot blocker, rebounder, and passer en route to All-American honors. She led SOC to a 102-9 mark in her 3 years of varsity play, while also making history as a member of the first girls team from Dallas to win a state championship in 1977. Brown-McCoy continued to improve and excel in basketball after graduation, and she still ranks as one of the all-time greats as Stephen F. Austin under Sue Guttner. The SFA Hall of Famer and former All-American currently ranks third in scoring amongst all-time scoring leaders in SFA history with 2,023 points, fourth in rebounding with 1,240, fourth in field goals with 815, and sixth in free throws with 393. Brown-McCoy was also a medal-winning member of the 1978 U.S. Select Team and the 1979 Pan Am and World Championship teams. Brown-McCoy also won a gold medal in the 1979 Jones Cup tournament in Taiwan. She was picked to participate in the 1980 Olympic team, the U.S. Olympic team, but you know what happened. The team did not participate due to the boycott that year in Moscow. Brown-McCoy returned to Dallas following the stellar career at SFA and started coaching at Bryan Adams. She eventually returned to her alma mater and displayed the same magic touch that was prevalent during her playing career as she guided SOC to the 1986 state tournament. Once again, Brown-McCoy continued to blaze new paths as she was tabbed the first ever female campus athletic director in DISD history in 2001. Under her watch, SOC would continue to raise the bar with multiple district, regional, and state titles in various sports. In addition to her membership in the SFA Hall of Fame, Brown-McCoy is also a member of both the Texas Black Sports and Texas High School Halls of Fame. Watch this exciting video of Coach Brown-McCoy.
We worked harder probably than a lot of the teams because girls basketball was really just coming along at that time when we were playing. We competed harder against each other than we did against other teams. Our practice environment was a lot of competitive energy, and when we played games, we didn't get as much competition here in the Dallas area. We traveled far and away to get competition. Our team was full of talent, so our competitive spirit would not only extend from practice, but into the game, and some of our games were extreme blowouts. Coach Blair made it a fun environment, but we felt more like sisters. Most of us lived in the same areas. Even when we weren't at school playing basketball, we would meet at a recreation center and play. The Olympic Games were boycotted the year I was chosen, 1980. But the Pan Am Games and World Championships were pretty much the same. I went to Stephen F. Austin. I played for Sue Gunter, who was the 1976 assistant Olympic coach. Most coaches love defensive players because they say they can teach you offense, but defense is not one of those things that are taught. It's, you know. So that's how I ended up making the team. I think with Pat Summitt, seeing my defensive skills made a difference. A memorable moment was getting on that stand, you know, the first, second, third place, and we're standing on the first place and being draped with medals. That was awesome. And I always thought in my head, who would have ever thought a girl from Oak Cliff, single-parent home, teenage mother, would be at this point? Who would ever think that? I didn't doubt it, but I never thought that far. Being in countries that I know, I probably wouldn't have ever had the opportunity to travel to. I've always been proud of the district as a teacher, as a coach, and a player, but coming back, being inducted into Dallas ISD Hall of Fame, very special because this is the foundation of everything that I've accomplished as an athlete.
Put your hands together for the incredible Barbara Brown-McCoy.
Good evening. I first give all praises and honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for his continuous blessings. And before I even start, I've been out of high school for 40 years. Coach Blair wasn't young then. But I have to acknowledge my teammate, whom he forgot when he was here, Anita Foster. We played six-man basketball. I was on defense and she was on offense, but I want to acknowledge her for being here tonight, for her support. Anita played for Southwestern Oklahoma, where she was an All-American and a national champion. So Anita, thank you for being here, supporting Coach Blair and I tonight. I also want to thank our Coca-Cola family for being here and supporting me tonight. I appreciate you all so much. It was such a surprise. Thank you very much, and thank you for the commemorative bottles. At this time, I would like to thank the Dallas ISD Athletic Department and the Hall of Fame Selection Committee for this honor. Even though this is not my first induction, it is truly the most meaningful one, because this is where my career started as a student and an athlete. To my late mother, Myrtle Brown Reed, who as a mother of 6, always allowed us to soar and fulfill our dreams. I love you, Mom. Special thanks to my husband, Mr. Derek McCoy, our 3 children, and my 2 brothers. As I told you earlier, I was the only girl of 5 boys. I ran things. I would also like to thank the rest of my family and friends who are here with me tonight. Thank you all for your endless love and support. I appreciate you for being here. Finally, I want to congratulate all of the inductees that are being honored, but I want to give special acknowledgement to my coach, inductee Gary Blair. Would you stand, please, Coach? Stay standing. Stand up. Stand up, Coach. I want to talk to you. Thank you for believing in me as a player. Thank you for enhancing my God-given talents and for creating an athlete that never allowed obstacles to be an option of defeat. Through our special relationship, you've helped me to realize that hard work and commitment wins every time, and I'm grateful. Thank you. I want to thank you all again for this honor. God bless you.
Barbara Brown-McCoy. Our final inductee. There are legends, and then there are legends. John Pritchett. The name John Pritchett is synonymous with Dallas ISD athletics, as his tenure spans 50-plus years announcing athletic events in the district, 30-plus years as an announcer for the UIL State Track and Field Meet. Born in Oklahoma and a graduate of Adamson High School, Pritchett took advantage of a late growth spurt while enlisted in the U.S. Army and was a 3-sport letter winner for his division team. His interest in broadcasting also took flight during the span as he served as the weekend announcer for the Frankfurt Blackhawks, or Black Knights, football over in Germany, and basketball teams as well. Pritchett returned to Dallas and enrolled at SMU, once discharged, and served as play-by-play and news announcer for various radio stations in the area. An avid runner while serving as Dallas Kimball's chairman of Social Science Department, Pritchett, a foray into the world of high school track and field announcing, happened by chance in 1964 at the Kimball Relays. When the meet scheduled announcer didn't show up, Pritchett was pulled from the finish line as the timer and called into duty by Kimball coach Cleburne Price, and the rest was history. As time went on, Pritchett's popularity as an announcer spread across the district and eventually the state, as he was called upon to announce several high-profile meets in DISD, surrounding districts, and local colleges, in addition to the UIL and TAP state track and field meets. Pritchett has remained active over the years with his local community and a wide range of organizations and remains a certified track and field official. Again, let's give it up to the legend, John Pritchett.
I was teaching at Kimball High School, working the Kimball relays one day, and the announcer didn't show up. And so the coach pulled me off the finish line where I was timing, had me announce the track meet. Mr. Herman Cowley, who was the athletic director of DISD at that time, was there. And he asked me if I would announce the city meet, we called it, down at PC Cobb Stadium. Later he asked if I could announce some football down there. And so that's how my announcing career got started in DISD. I announced practically every sport, high school sport in existence, volleyball, basketball, swimming, wrestling, football, cross country, track and field, baseball, and every game's a thrill. And just I get really excited about the schools that I'm working with and announcing. And last December, in the DISD basketball tournament, and I was taking a break in the hospitality room, and a young man came over and sat down across the table for me, and he said, my, you're still doing this. He said, I remember when I was a student athlete at Sunset High School, you were announcing. And when I was a coach at Sunset High School, you were announcing. And that young man was Dr. Michael Hinojosa, our superintendent of schools, an alumni who has come back and serving the district. And there's so many principals, coaches and so forth that come up to me all the time. Hey, I remember when you were announcing my games when I was in high school. And that's a real treat. I've been in Dallas Independent Schools, started teaching at Kimball in 1962. Of course, I taught there for 10 years, but keeping up with my announcing and everything has kept me on the payroll at DISD all this time. And so, I mean, I'm just very much supportive of DISD. I've worked with a lot of athletic directors and assistant athletic directors over the period of time. And they have just been wonderful, supportive, provided me with a lot of opportunities as well as everything I needed to achieve them. And so to be a part of the DISD Hall of Fame is just particularly thrilling for me.
All right, put your hands together and let me introduce him with his 3 favorite words. On your mark, John Pritchett.
You never think that a public address announcer would be at a loss for words, but I'm kind of overwhelmed. I've had people ask me the last week or two, how in the world did you get inducted into a Hall of Fame with so many great athletes and coaches? And I said, I guess over the years I just talked my way into it. As I said on the tape, I've been involved in the Dallas Independent School District ever since I graduated from Addison High School back in 1950. And I spent 2 years down at Cobb Stadium. And then I got a call one day from Mr. Herman Cowley, the athletic director. He said, would you mind moving from Cobb out to Sprague Field? Man, I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. I mean, Sprague Field was right next door to Kimball, and Sprague Field was where the big track meets and football games took place. We used to have a saying, the road to Austin went through Sprague Field. I announced this at Sprague Field. This is where Roy Martin and Doug English ran track, played football. This is where Harvey Martin played football. I had a call one day from Mr. Blair, the
basketball coach at South Oak Cliff High School. He said, I'm getting ready to have a girls basketball classic at Sprague Fieldhouse. I'd like for you to announce it. I said, Gary, I've never announced basketball. And first of all, Sprague Field doesn't have a sound system. He said, we're getting a portable sound system. You've announced track, you've announced football, you can do basketball. And that was my first experience announcing basketball. Barbara Brown was playing in that classic. And I was counting up the other day, I estimate that I have announced more than 2,500 basketball games since that time. And I've announced basketball games for Coach J.D. Mayo and the Skyline Raiders. I announced basketball games under Coach Michael Hensley and the state champion Lady Tigers of Lincoln High School, and many others. I have had this is my 56th track season, and I'll be announcing my 56th football season starting next fall, good Lord willing. I had a neighbor that said, at your age, you don't buy any green bananas. At any rate, over that period of time, I have had some outstanding administrators, teachers, coaches, student athletes that I've worked with. I've had some outstanding athletic directors, assistant athletic directors, stadium managers, athletic trainers, had the best press box and table crew that you could find anywhere in the world. Even the maintenance people at the stadiums and the ISD security forces have always supported me and made it possible for me to keep up this work all the years that I did, and I appreciate all of them. Several of my colleagues over here at Table 10, I still work with them, and I'm glad they're here tonight because they are part of the reason that I'm standing up here tonight. I, over the years, have recruited my family to help me with administering cross-country meets and other sports. My son and daughter spot football games for me quite frequently, and even some of my colleagues from Mountain View College here tonight, I recruited them to help me put on cross-country meets over a period of time, and so I appreciate everything that they've done. You know, I understand I'm going to get a ring tonight, and the only ring I've ever had in my life is this one right here. I've had that ring for almost 57 years. Patsy was smart enough to buy a ring that was just big enough to get on my finger and too small to remove short of amputation. So we have been sweethearts, friends, colleagues, best of friends, adversaries, and husband and wife for almost 57 years. And I appreciate her support and the support of all the family. I understand that there is a trap door back here. If you exceed your 3 minutes, you're going to disappear before you have a chance to eat your dessert. But evidently the trigger is broken. I would just like to leave you with a little prayer, and my prayer would be that the good Lord blesses you as richly throughout the rest of your life as He has so richly blessed me through my 85, almost 86 years. Amen, and thanks again.
I got that, John. They're giving you a standing ovation. Look around here. They're ready to go home. Really good. '87. Woo! My goodness. And still got to stop watching his pocket. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got it done. We want to thank everybody for being here this evening. We want to especially thank all the honorees. Make sure you get your ring, John Pritchett. The only other ring We also want to thank all the sponsors for their generous support for this worthwhile event. The Dallas ISD for its continued work for keeping the city sports legacy alive. Dr. Hinojosa, Troy, everybody who came here this evening, and of course the inductees and their families. Drive safe, everybody, and have an enjoyable weekend. I'm Chris Arnold. We're out of here. Thank you.